All right, CrossFit Intrinsic family. My name is Hayes, Coach Hayes. You guys have seen me in a bunch of the classes. We're going to start doing a new thing this week. We're going to call it Mobility Monday. Focus here is we're going to give you 3, maybe 4 quick little movements that you can do. The focus is that you can do them at home, in your own time, 5 to 10 minutes. I challenge you to do it every day this week. This week we're going to focus on the squat. If every day doesn't work, try and do it 3 days a week. Just do something, make some sort of commitment with yourself, and then stick to it. It's not going to take much. I challenge you to think about those last 10 minutes of the day. Do you really do anything really productive? Or do you sit on your phone and scroll through Instagram or something like that? If that's the case, maybe spend those 5 minutes, 10 minutes doing these movements. And then we'll give you at the end, we'll give you one little at gym movement that you can do, something that you can take to the gym with yourself before your class. You can do it to help open up that squat before you start your class. It'll only take you about a minute. So I'm gonna bring Marquise in. He's gonna be our demonstrator. We're gonna talk through a couple different movements here. We'll talk to you kind of why we want you to do them and what they're gonna benefit. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is just an air squat, but we're gonna do it with a supported object. This object that we have here, this is the sled at the gym. However, you could use a bedpost, you could use a chair, your dining room table, you could use your son, your daughter, and have them hold you, whatever that may be. You can use some sort of supported object. You can grab hold of that object and you're gonna sink down to that bottom squat. This is the one time where I'm gonna tell you, I'm not super focused about how that squat looks and what that form is. If your heels come off the ground a little bit, that's okay. If your back rounds a little bit, that's okay. The goal here is for you to spend 2 to 3 minutes in this position. Now, if this position is tough to spend a couple minutes in, we're gonna show you a variation next, but I wanna talk about this position first. So the goal while you're here is spend some time in the bottom squat. Most of you have the mobility, or have the flexibility, to be here, but your body's just not happy. And the only way to make your body happy here and feel safe is to spend some time here. So you've got this piece of support that can help pull you into that good squat position. Go ahead, spend some time with your up on your toes, where you sit in this natural position, kind of like I'm sitting right now, and you can spend some time where you've got your heels back on the ground, and your focus here is to maybe pull your butt towards your heels. Get that good stretch with the hips forward, like you do when you're weighted in the bottom of the squat. But once you spend some time here, and you want to move on to another stretch, we're going to move over, or what you can do is you can take one leg and you can throw it straight out to the side. This is going to give you the ability to kind of access a different part of that hip. You'll notice that Marquise's heel came off the ground, and that's okay. This is a hard position to achieve that flat foot position. But what we can do is we can go ahead and we can rock ourselves back, use this object, and we can press our heel on the ground and really focus on that stretch in the hip. And then you can rock yourself back up on your toe and you can focus on that ankle dorsiflexion, that good ankle position stretch as well. The other thing that you can add to this is you can take this leg that's outstretched and you can rotate that heel, your foot back and forth, rotating just in the hip, focusing on that hip pocket. This is gonna help you access that cue that we give you to screw your feet into the ground to build that external tension, and internal tension while you squat. This is gonna help open that movement up and give it a little bit more access to you. We're gonna transition now to the kind of the second movement that we want you to try and achieve this week, and that's gonna be the V-sit. And you're gonna use your supported item as well in this. So you're gonna go ahead and move from this position down to your butt, you throw your legs out to the side, and you go ahead and reach forward and you grab a hold of that position, or that item that you had chose, whether it's a couch, a door frame, whatever it may be, and you just spend some time here. The back can round off. The focus is the inside of the thighs, those abductors and those internal hamstrings. You can play around with having your back straight, bending forward, take a couple deep breaths. You can relax out of the stretch. You can let your back bend and see how this stretch accesses your lower back as well as your inner thigh and your hamstring. Another thing that you can do while you spend some time here, that same thing we did with our hips before, you can rotate those toes in towards each other and then rotate them out, focusing on trying to get that hip pocket to turn a little bit. But again, same thing as the squat. Spend a minute or two here. This is gonna help open up those inner hips, those hamstrings, those abductors, to let that bottom squat position be a little bit more accessible to you. Once you're done with that, if we have told you either of these versions that are not accessible to you, we go ahead and move over to the wall. We have a variation of both of these for the wall. I call it the wall squat and the wall V-sit. We'll start with the wall squat. Your goal is to scoot up as close as you can, probably give yourself about 2 to 3 inches away from the wall for your butt, and then you're gonna go ahead and grab onto your ankles and pull them down to that good squat position. This is it. You just gotta sit here and relax. This is gonna be the passive version of that supported squat that we just went through. If your body does not feel safe sitting in or standing in a squat position, Sitting on your back is going to let you do that. And you can see from Coach Marquise here, his back is nice and vertical. If you look at him from the side, this is a very good model of a squat position. Another way that you can add to this is you can go ahead and throw your hands overhead like you're in a snatch position. It's a good way to open up that lower back to feel a little bit of a stretch through your hips with it as well. You can take your hands out of that position. You can grab your knees. You can pull your knees down towards you and out to add to that hip and inside the leg stretch. And as well, you can do the same position with your ankles. You can grab on your ankles and pull those heels down to achieve a little bit of ankle dorsiflexion. If you want to challenge yourself for the whole stretch, you can put a band, if you have one, behind your back and hook it on your knees. But you're going to find that this is a great way to get after that squat position in a passive manner. Now to transition over to the V-sit, you're just going to scoot your butt all the way up to the wall and then let your feet come all the way up into a fully vertical, essentially L-sit on the wall. And then you're just going to take a nice deep breath and let those heels relax away and do a nice V-sit until you hit that end range of motion in the abductors and the inner hamstrings here. This is the same thing, spending a minute or two in this position, just relax. This is if you have the wall space. If you don't have the wall space, you can do it on the ground like we showed before. Trying to get after the same things here. You can turn your toes towards each other, get that hip movement in there while you're sitting in this position. Go ahead and take a deep breath, hold it for a couple seconds and relax. Try and stretch a little bit deeper into that stretch. You can put your hands up on the inside of your knees and you can add just a little bit of tension on this if you need, or you can sit in a nice overhead rack position as well. But the goal here is to spend a little bit of time in these positions. You can go ahead and relax, Marquise. We gave you two movements with two variations each. I challenge you to spend 3-4 minutes in those positions throughout the week, totaling maybe 10 minutes of mobility a day. It's something that you can give to yourself. It's only going to help you. I can't tell you to do it. I'm not going to be at home to do it, but I hope you do it. The last thing that we want to add in is we want to add in something that you can do at the gym to help improve your squat. And so what you'll do is we call it the plate butterfly. And we're going to essentially make a butterfly position. You're going to lay flat on your back. You go ahead and bring that left leg up into kind of like a butterfly, and then lay flat on your back, Marquise, and then just go ahead and let this right leg fall down. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add a plate here, add a little bit of a stretch. You'll notice that his left leg comes up, that's fine. You're fine that you can adjust this and make this as difficult as you want it to be. If you pull this free leg down, you're going to open a stretch on the inside of that hip. If that's too much, then you can relax a little bit, take a breath, kind of work your way into it. Anytime that you find yourself in a really uncomfortable position in any of these movements, whether it's this or any of the other movements, take a deep breath in, contract that muscle, let it out, relax, and then stretch into it a little bit deeper. After you do about 30 seconds or a minute here, you're going to take the plate and you add it to the other side, and we're going to try and get the same stretch on the other side of the body. Here, you're going to take a couple deep breaths, contract, relax, get a little bit deeper into the stretch. This is a great thing that you can do prior to some sort of squat day, whether we have clean snatches, back squat, front squat. It'll help with the deadlifts. It's going to get after those abductors, those inner hamstrings as well. I challenge you to maybe find 5 minutes before the gym to kind of play around with these movements. And if you have questions about it, you can come up to the coaches and ask them about it. That's the video that we have for our first Mobility Monday. Just to recap, we've got the supported squat, and then we've got that with a leg out, working the hip a little bit. We've got the V-sit, and we have the wall versions of both of those. And we've got your plate butterfly for you to work on at the gym. If you have any questions, come talk to any of the coaches. The video will be posted. And please enjoy and let us know what you think.